and welcome back to another video here in the LEGO Room. We are back in the LEGO Room and it has been a hot minute, and we have actually missed a whole bunch of the leaks and images as well that are coming for LEGO Star Wars over the next couple of months. Some of the Smart Play stuff I will elaborate on in a couple of days time. You've probably already seen some of those images online for the sets coming in March with the new interactable Smart Play bricks. I'm going to gather my thoughts about that. There's some things in there that I don't particularly love, and there's one or two things where I do actually think they are trying to do something clever, but I will cover that in a video in a day or two's time, so make sure you do stay tuned, hit the subscribe button if you aren't already, so you don't miss that when it does happen. But I want to talk about something that I'm actually far more excited about today, which is of course these sets that are coming out in the summer for LEGO Star Wars in 2026, starting with the thing I'm most excited about potentially, which is of course a return to the Ewok village. This set of course we saw in 2013. I don't really expect us to see a set of this size again. It will be a downscaled version of this particular set, that is for sure. It's going to be $180, which is the only price point that we have. A lot of these price points I'm going to list off to you today are just in dollars and not in pounds, but with LEGO math we can sort of work out what it is going to be in pounds. It'll be £160 here in the UK, which of course only puts it £10 more than the Yavin set, which you might just be able to see to the side of me there. Only £10 more, and that set actually had 12 minifigures in there, and you'd expect a lot of the same minifigures to be in from that set, or at least the same characters with Han, Luke, Leia, and a couple of the droids there as well. My main thing with this set is how many Ewoks are we going to see in this set, because I think in something called a Ewok village you need to have more than a couple of Ewoks. What is the minimum amount? I've sort of been thinking about what is the minimum amount of Ewoks that we would see in a set like this for it to be a village. I think there has to be at least 4 or 5. I don't think anything less than that. I think 3 Ewoks in the Ewok village, that would be weird. Bear in mind Wicket is going to be one of them. We've already got one on the market with that buildable Wicket, so we've already got the newest version of Wicket that we're going to see in this set. So how many Ewoks are we going to get in this set? I think that's the key thing for me. $180, which will make it £160. This will come out in the summer. We don't have a piece count for it yet either, but I'd imagine it will be a lot smaller than the nearly 2,000 pieces we saw back in 2013. Next two sets up that I am most excited about, we are getting another sand crawler. It has been some time, and it's one that I've absolutely been saying that I wanted to grab hold of for some time. This set is going to come in at the $200 mark, which will of course make it £180 here in the UK. Now this isn't going to be a sandcrawler that we're all thinking of from A New Hope, from the first time we ever saw a sandcrawler. It will be from The Mandalorian, which is of course no great surprise given we've got the Mando movie coming out in May. And this is going to be from Mando Season 1, where you're going to see, we're assuming, a Mudhorn in there as well. There's been a lot of sort of talk that there's going to be a Mudhorn in this particular set, whether it's like a moulded version or whether it's a brick built version. We're not entirely sure. Like I said, we've only really got set titles at this particular moment in time with some price points. You're going to obviously get a Mando in there. Will it be the retired UCS Mando that we saw go off shelves with the Razor Crest at the back end of 2025? I'm not entirely sure. We do not know. But there are some scope for figures in this particular set. You would expect to see Grogu in his little pod. You'd expect to see a whole bunch of Jawas, and you'd of course expect to see hopefully a return for Quill in this set as well. Yeah, $200, £180. Excited about this one. Completely different, of course, to the sandcrawlers we've seen previously. We'd certainly expect to see. I'd be curious to see what size this is going to come in at, because of course you're going to get a Mudhorn as well there. It's probably going to be a smaller sandcrawler than we've seen before anyway, and of course that is kind of what we're seeing with all sets at the moment. They're smaller than the previous version, which I've elaborated on a few times in different videos over the last year. We're seeing smaller sets, and I'd expect all of the sets I kind of mentioned here to be in that kind of bracket. The next setup is one I talked about last year. We kind of knew this was coming in 2026, and this is an AT-AT. It's not just an AT-AT that we've seen in Empire Strikes Back. It will be one that we've seen in the trailer for the Mandalorian movie. This will be coming out in the summer of 2026, and $180 for this one, so £160 once again. I expect it to be slightly smaller than the previous play scale model that we have seen. You can get a pretty good look at what it's going to look like if you saw the Mandalorian trailer. It's going to look like an AT-AT with a few sort of slight differences, maybe some slight differences in sort of texture and colour across the build. But yeah, one that I'm excited for. Will I get it? I've already got one. Possibly. We'll just have to see what it looks like. The next setup that is potentially, and I say potentially, a Mandalorian movie set is the Imperial shuttle that we're going to get in the summer. Now, why do I say that? Of course, the most obvious answer to an Imperial shuttle being out on the market is the fact that we get a Return of the Jedi style Imperial shuttle, either with the Rebels landing on Endor, or with Vader and Luke, something that we've seen previously, basically. But I do think it's possible that this could be a Mandalorian-style Imperial shuttle that we saw in The Mandalorian Season 2 with Bo-Katan, and I'm blanking on her name as well. Cosco Reeves, maybe. I can't quite remember her name, but the scene where everybody basically piles on into the Moff Gideon cruiser. I certainly think that's possible. Of course, with Cara Dune sort of coming back into the frame, potentially as well with a minifigure there. I think it's possible that we see this as a Mandalorian set. I think it's very clear we're going Mando heavy this summer. Yeah, $140 on that one as well. I can't remember if I did say that, but $140, which again will put it at about the £125 mark, if anything, of the previous sets that we've seen. I'm thinking particularly the Onyx Cinder and the buildable C-3PO, the £140 mark. Will probably see us at the £125 mark here in the UK. One I'm actually really curious about and actually really like the sound of is the buildable upscaled Darth Vader. And we've seen a bunch of buildable upscaled figures over the last year or two with Lego. I'm thinking notably of the Santa that we built over about a month ago on the channel, and there's been other figures, regular figure. You've got a pirate from the Lego house as well off the top of my head, but there is tons of buildable figures that they have done. You've got the Octan guy as well there. I think the only thing I'm really curious about this is the fact that this is slated to be $100, and that would make it £90 here in the UK. Now that would be almost double the price of the regular minifigure, and of course of the Santa as well. So it really curious. That would be an astronomical price if it was just the same size as all the buildable figures that we've seen previously. But I do think it is really a cool idea, and one that I would really love to have on display here in the Lego room. I think it's the right figure to do. If you're going to do any figure, you do the Darth Vader figure. It is the most obvious figure to do if you're going to upscale a Star Wars figure. So yeah, really curious to see what the price is on that, if that is indeed the correct price, and what that does look like, but one that I would certainly be interested in grabbing hold of. There will be another buildable figure out on the market as well, and it is going to be a buildable Yoda. And sort of not sure why we're getting this only a couple of years after the previous buildable Yoda, but I do get they're trying to sort of uniform all of these buildable figures and droids. We'll see it with, I don't know if the Grogu just in the corner there, and we've got the Ewok as well last year, and all the droids are sort of being uniformed, as we've seen with the BB-8 coming in January at that sort of very high price. It's obvious that they're starting to uniform these things. So I expect this to kind of be in line with the size of R2-D2 or just under, which would make it look more like the Yoda from the early 2000s rather than the Yoda that we saw just before COVID. I do think that it's very likely it's going to be more of a sitting, posed version of Yoda, maybe from the final couple of films. I'm not entirely sure. We don't actually know. I'm sort of speculating on that, but I just think given the way we're trying to uniform these figures with the plaque and the stand and the little figure, I do think it's possible that it's going to be a Yoda that would sort of be closer to the size of R2-D2. Oh, so this is actually the set that I might be the most excited about. Now, when I always do these videos and I say that I could have done this video a little bit earlier and maybe it's done some information about, but I'm not entirely sure if all the information is correct. This is a prime example because I was told about the idea of a bounty hunter pursuit, but I thought this was going to be an episode 5 bounty hunter pursuit from the information that I have, which I will not sort of name names and say who it was, but there was original rumour that it was going to be an episode 5 bounty hunter pursuit, i.e. all of the bounty hunters aboard the Star Destroyer and the mission layout for that. I'm not entirely sure. I wasn't buying into the information. It turns out we're going to get an episode 2 bounty hunter pursuit, which is of course the Zam Wesell speeder chase with Obi-Wan and Anakin, and this makes far more sense. And I've mentioned this in a dual ship set video over the last year. I would love to see this, and we are going to get it in the summer of 2026. So super excited about this. And the original set was sub £30 all the way back in 2002. It might have been sub £20. I can't quite remember. This set is going to clock in at $60, which will make it £55, just like we saw with the sort of V19 this year. You're going to get Anakin, Obi-Wan, you're going to get a Zam Wesell, and you're going to get the 2 ships as well. And that is just sort of where we're at, 25 years almost on from that set. Is that is the price now. It's going to be £55. It's going to be over double what it was 20 odd years ago, and really excited about this though. It is one I'm definitely going to be picking up, even if the speeders are slightly small. Some absolutely fantastic figures in there potentially, we will see, but yeah, very excited. We're going to get another Zam Wesell. I think that's a really potentially, I gotta say this sort of layered with potential, a lot of these sets, but we'll just see how they're executed. But yeah, one that I'm very excited about, and one I spoke about previously as something I would like to see us do again in the future. One set I'm very, very curious about is the Star Wars mini movie posters. We're going to get some Star Wars mini movie posters, I'd imagine about that size, with a black trim border, almost like you see on the dioramas. And this is going to be $50 set, which means it's going to be a £45 set here in the UK. Really curious what this is going to look like. Obviously, it's going to be a replica of the original posters in brick form. Will it be printed? I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work exactly and what it will look like. The other, of course, debate is how many are we going to get? We're going to get the 3, the original trilogy. The original trilogy is a banker. Those are the 3 we're getting. It's whether or not we get the 1, 2, 3 as well, and whether we even get 7, 8, 9. I'm not entirely sure. My sort of gut feeling on this, given price and size, is that we're going to get 4, 5 and 6, and then they'll tee up doing 1, 2 and 3 in 2027, and then probably do 7, 8, 9 all the way into 2028, which feels like an absolute eternity away. And then of course by that point you've got the opportunity to do other posters there as well, like Rogue One, there'll be the Mando and Grogu movie, and of course Solo as well. So you'd have the opportunity to continue that further down the line. But yeah, my sort of bank's idea is it's definitely 4, 5 and 6. Will it be 1, 2 and 3 as well? Not entirely sure. But yeah, I would certainly imagine it'll be 4, 5 and 6. Hopefully it's a pack of 6. That would be fantastic. And sort of question mark around what else you're going to get in this set, because otherwise it's going to be a bit odd. I do wonder whether or not you're going to get a minifigure and a plaque stand to go with it. The idea being sort of floated about online, the idea of a George Lucas minifigure. I'm not sure whether that will happen. I would love it to happen. I absolutely would love that to be the case. But I do think that if we were going to get one, it was probably with the Star Wars logo. But here's hoping. I would certainly love to see a George Lucas minifigure, and we've got to get one at some point, right? Next up, we've got Anakin's Delta 7B, sort of triangular looking version of Anakin's ship, probably from the Clone Wars, which means it'll be his Clone Wars armor, which is no great surprise. We've seen a lot of returns to the Clone Wars style armor over the last couple of years. I'm thinking most notably of Obi-Wan last year on the V19, and we saw Mace Windu as well a couple of years ago. So it's no real surprise that they're doing these characters again with their Clone Wars armor over the last couple of years. They are sort of doing this type of thing, so it makes no real surprise to me. This will be $30, which means it'll probably be £25. It may well be £30, yeah, if Obi-Wan's Jedi Interceptor is anything to go off over the last couple of years. You'll get Anakin and R2, that's pretty much a banker, and that'll pretty much be all you get. It'll be one of those ships we look at and go, wow, this is a small version of a ship for £25. I just think that's the way it's going to go. Hopefully it won't be. Hopefully it'll be closer to Obi-Wan's ship with Anakin and R2. And I think the quality of the Anakin figure is going to be the real tell in this set, and it's going to really decide how well this set actually does, because everybody wants a Clone Wars version of Anakin, and whether or not they use the version from Ahsoka's Jedi Interceptor that came out at the very start of 2025, I'll be really curious. They really shouldn't, given that his ship was early Clone Wars, which means he should be in a slightly different uniform. So we will see how that one turns out. It of course would not surprise me if it's just a reuse of the version that we saw in Ahsoka's ship at the start of 2025. Only 3 sets to go, so thank you so much if you're still here. I do seriously appreciate it. We've still got a couple of sets to go, and the next one up is a set that we don't actually have a price for, which is Darth Vader versus Luke Skywalker Bespin duel. We don't know what this set is going to look like exactly. We sort of all assume, I think, that it will look like the Comic-Con special version anniversary set with the 40th anniversary brick from a couple of years ago pre-COVID. I'm not entirely sure whether it will look like that. I would love it to look like that. I think it'd be more accessible to all fans. What I keep going over in the back of my head is whether or not it will look like the Carbon Freeze set from 2015, sort of mid 2010s, where you got the Ugnaught and you got Han in his frozen chamber, and that sort of circular base. I have got it somewhere packed up. I just can't be bothered to go digging for it. I'll insert the image of it on screen. Whether it looks more like that or whether it looks like the actual sort of moment that we all know, where he's sort of hanging over the ledge and the "I am your father" moment, I'm not entirely sure, because we have no real other information on that. We don't even have a price for it. So yeah, when we do, I'll make another video about it. You'll hear all about it here. hit the subscribe button. The last two sets up, you've got the Icons of Star Wars set. We have no information at all about this. It's the Icons of Star Wars set, it's called, and it's going to be $80, making it £70 here in the UK. No idea what it could be. We literally have no idea. Drop a comment in the comments section what you think it will be, because I have absolutely no idea. But could that set include a George Lucas minifigure? When we've seen the Icons of Harry Potter set, it's I'm thinking of the Hedwig set that just retired. It's very much a sort of homage to the movie with loads of different pieces of the movie in it. So I'm not entirely sure what an Icons of Star Wars set would look like. Nobody really knows. Everybody online is just speculating about it. But do drop a comment in the comment section what you think it would be, because I am fascinated to see what everybody else thinks we're going to get. And last setup, and I've saved the least exciting set for last, and that is a Luke's X-Wing Microfighter that will clock in at the $12.99 mark here in the UK. That's $15 US, $12.99. We're returning to that price for microfighters. And I can't remember the last time we got a microfighter. Captain Rex, oh no, Plo Koon. We got Plo Koons last year as well. So yeah, it makes sense, I guess. It would make sense at any time to get a Luke's X-Wing Microfighter. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of their safety net set that they go to, the Luke's X-Wing, as we've seen, of course, with the Smart Brick stuff that I'll talk about in a couple of days' time. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched until this point in the video, it's sincerely appreciated. Which of these sets are you excited about? I'm excited about quite a few of them. I'm glad we've got some stuff to look forward to, because some of those Smart Play sets that are coming probably won't be for me, and I will elaborate on that further in the week. But let me know in the comments section what you're looking forward to, and if you're looking forward to those Smart Play sets, and do subscribe, because we will be touching on a lot of stuff. We've literally just came home from holiday, so we've got tons of stuff coming up, loads of stuff that I haven't done, loads of stuff I haven't built, loads of stuff from our time away at Disney. So we've got tons of stuff coming up on the channel, so keep it here. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched until this point in the video, it's sincerely appreciated. Take care, and I will see you in the very next video. Bye.